Hello everyone, I'm Geoff Blanchard, and next to me is my co-host for today, Rick Zanardi. You're watching.
How are you, everyone?
And you're watching Tech Down Over. I nearly said the weekly catch-up. And we're back. So a little bit different. I'm the one pressing the buttons today again. So good evening, Mr. Zanardi, and good afternoon for me, I suppose.
Good evening, Double O Blanchard. We are here. Let's see, you're in Melbourne, and I'm in Camarillo, California, which is about 50 miles north of LAX, 60 miles actually where we are. So it's a nice muggy day here.
Is it? Yes. Well, here it's. I was going out with the dog this morning, and then all of a sudden there was an alarm went on the car. What's that? It goes beep, 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 beep. And I've never heard that one before, but what it would drop below 3 degrees Celsius, so frost would form on the road, so we'd very rarely get that. So I was quite shocked.
That's pretty cool for you.
It is, but that's winter. But then again, it's 18 degrees or 15 degrees for the rest of the day. It's lovely and sunny.
Right. And for those who don't know, 3 degrees Celsius is probably about 37, 38 degrees, right?
Something around that, but it's
Fahrenheit. But that's cold. That's chilly.
Yeah, but then it's supposed to be winter, so that's fine. But as I said, it's still quite a nice day anyway. So, well, and it should be quite warm there for you because it is summer, isn't it?
We're not yet in summer. In about 2 weeks. On the 21st or 2nd, we turn into summer. We've actually been out here. We have June gloom.
Oh, okay. What's that?
That means in June it's very overcast, either in the morning or all day. Today was most of the day. And then it just goes away, and then we have a little heat, July, August. Usually we're not that hot, but every so often it gets 95, 100 degrees, or, in Fahrenheit, and that's pretty warm.
Well, I must admit...
Today was 69, 70 degrees. So it's probably about, what is that, 15, 20 degrees
something
Celsius,
like
I think.
that. And I must admit I do enjoy the cold, miserable weather, because it allows me to sit in and play around with technology, because when it's nice and quite sunny weather, you feel the obligation to get outside. So I did have a few weeks leave, a few weeks back, and I was most disappointed that most days were pretty good weather, so I had to get out and about. I couldn't sit in and just do what I wanted to do because it was such nice weather.
Well, you've been inundated with a lot of gear lately, at least temptations to buy gear.
Oh, definitely.
What has happened in the last week?
Well, temptations. There's been quite a lot of temptations because I happen to see that Apple has released their new versions of the iMacs, so which really caught my eye.
To me, it's too little, too late. They're about a year and a half behind everyone on what they're offering. I don't know. But by the way, how big was the screen? Was it still 27, 28, or did it go to 32?
No change whatsoever. And that's what I was going to say. There was a lot of the things that are still in the same sort of cabinet style. So when I want something new, even if it doesn't do anything differently, I want it to be in a different cabinet, even if a different stand or just something to make it a bit different. Like you said, today, this day and age, 32-inch is not outrageous.
I've got 32 inches at work, at home, in the studios. They're great. I don't want to go back to a 27.
And these ones, they say the 1.4 times faster. Well,
that's not that much.
Not that much to me, but
1.4. That's nothing.
It says with the new 1.4 times faster new processor. It says and up to the 4.2 gigahertz on the 27-inch and 3.6 gigahertz for the 21-inch. But then the turbo boost with that will make it round about, it's about the 4.5 on the 27. Yeah, but in those
cabinets, the turbo boost would heat it up too.
But they've said they've got something with the heat on there, so I'll get to that in a little bit. And they said the latest graphics technology, they've got the Radeon Pro 500 graphics.
Oh, they went with the Radeon? They didn't even go with the G-forces? Oh, well, isn't that crazy?
Well... They just do. They said, I just don't know.
I mean, the Radeons are okay, but I'll take the Nvidias over the Radeon.
Well, I always like the Nvidias because
I've had much better luck with the Nvidia.
I've never heard, to be quite honest, of the Radeon, so I thought,
It's
well,
the AMD.
oh, it's the
AMD
AMD.
Radeon.
Oh, okay, that's one. And it's just said one of the good things, I suppose, with the 27-inch, it's got 8 gigabyte of GPU, the video RAM, which that was 4, which really these days it's not so much the speed of the processor.
Well, the one you had only had 2, I think, right?
Yes, that's right. The one I had.
Yeah, that's just like mine. I only have 2, and it handles it okay. I've got 8 on the one I have right here, the one we're on. I've got an 8, and it's just night and day. But there's really no games to play or anything that would really benefit from an 8 gigabyte video card. Video doesn't need that much in terms of editing, so I mean it's nice to have, but it's not a killer. So I don't know. I'm totally unenthused by what they come out with and make it sound like revolutionary. It's brand new. It is, and it's been out for a year and a half or more in other places. You just don't have it, Apple. I'm not a fanboy anymore. I'm fed up with them. So,
well, I've always been.
I've had repairs. I don't think you've ever had a repair on yours. When you do, you'll be fed up too because it'll cost half the price of your original machine to get it repaired.
Well, I must admit that
$1,500 on 2 stupid little cheap fixes. Replace the screen and replace the actual glass, and replace the little cheap piece of junk connector for the stand. And that cost me almost $1,500 by the time I was done. I was going, that's really not worth it. I paid $3,200 to $3,400 for the iMac, and I'm spending almost $1,500 just to replace 2 little parts, which probably cost $100 in total. Yeah, I'm done.
Well, I was sort of the thing. I wasn't. Well, I've always loved the Macs, but as I said, if there's something new comes along, and I've done that before, I've jumped ship before on the Mac. Yeah. I've gone over to PC and then come back to the Mac. But I like the product, but I'm not one. If there's something new, I will definitely do it. And like one of the things they're just saying on there, it says it's 43% brighter. Do I care? Well,
that's pretty bright already.
But it's pretty bright already, and they said 1 billion colors. Well, can I distinguish the difference? I don't know whether I will be able to see that, but it's just got a lot of things that are pretty much the same, and they've got the Thunderbolt 3 connections, just 2 of them, the USB-C. And like I said, still only 2 with that. I said, that's one of my big problems with even just the current one.
But you know why I need 3? Because you can daisy chain Thunderbolt devices usually. And that's why they don't care, because you can put another one to another device like a monitor, and as a result, you don't need as many. Yeah, but what I don't like, I don't know if Thunderbolt 3 is different, but Thunderbolt 1 would always pop out.
Oh,
it's such a cheap little connector. It just barely goes into the hole in the machine. Then it comes out like that. Whereas USB and that doesn't come out that easily. You have to put a little bit of effort into it.
But the thing is with me though, when you're saying about daisy chaining the Thunderbolt, the only thing I can daisy chain is my Drobo. That's got one, so I'll go into that, out to that for the video card. Then the other one goes into the monitor. And as I said, you can't daisy chain the monitor, and that's the thing. Whereas I need something else,
that's true.
And I want one.
When I had my Mac up, I had a second monitor as part of the daisy chain from the Drobo. I think I went to the Drobo, then the Drobo attached to that, or something like that, and it was okay. Because I had the extreme capture card in one of the other Thunderbolts, so I had no room for anything.
And that's why I think in this day and age, you need people have, and as I said, not every Thunderbolt device has a daisy chain on it, but one thing I do like, which has always annoyed me with buying Macs, whenever they've had them, they've always come as standard with the wireless keyboard that doesn't have the numeric keypad. So I've always dumbed it down and gone to the one with the numeric keypad that's got the plug-in. But now they offer a wireless numeric keypad. Wireless keyboard with a numeric keypad.
But you know what's funny? I won't even buy the Mac keyboards. I'll buy the Logitech K750 for the Mac. It works better. It's a better feeling keyboard. The keys are a little more normal size, and it's also Bluetooth, and even better, it's got solar power.
Yes, it never goes flat.
I love those.
Yeah,
those
I've got one there.
In fact, we used to use them a lot for all the PCs. They really work nicely. Yeah, it's funny. After having had to repair three iMacs at different times,
Hmm.
I'm done. I am so done with Apple. I will never say never, but I'll
No,
never buy
that's
another
right.
Apple computer again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well,
I'll make a promise of that.
well, I can
Uh,
say that with
and even
my.
though there's some things I like about Apple and the OS is okay, I find I don't like
Mm.
the OS as much as I used to either. So I'm just, I can build much better Windows machines that are twice as fast as anything Apple can produce for half the money and have exactly what I need. And if
Well,
anything breaks, I replace one part and I take my whole computer in.
and I,
So those are the things that kill me. Because every time my Mac goes down, the whole thing has to go in. I'm out a whole computer versus I can go to Fry's, pick up a part, swap it, my machine's back up.
and I think with the Macs though, like you said, there's always the interface. You might not like that as much. Maybe it's not that. It's just that Windows have improved their interface so much.
I think they
It's
have. Yeah,
much
I think
nicer
they
to
have. I
use
don't
than it
mind
ever
Windows
was.
10 at all.
No,
It's pretty
I
good.
don't mind at all. But as you
It
say,
works well, and most of the applications I use don't really run on Macs as well. A lot of the e-learning stuff doesn't, or it doesn't run as
mm,
well. Frankly, Premiere runs faster on Windows, even though it runs okay on Mac. Blackmagic runs really, not Blackmagic. Oh yeah, actually Blackmagic,
okay.
the DaVinci Resolve 14 runs really fast on Windows. I haven't tried it on the Mac yet, but it is screaming. I did some stuff today at work, and I was going, "Wow, this is just the render now looks as good as it did, when you just hit playback preview.
Mm,
It looks as good
it's
as
really
Premiere
good.
now."
But like you're saying with my Macs, the last two Macs I've had, I haven't had any huge problems. But both of them, they phoned me up, said we've got to replace the hard drive, and then they said when can we come round? And so they must have been
Right.
desperate because they replaced one on Christmas Eve on one day because I said oh well you do it after Christmas. No, we'll do it tonight or tomorrow night.
But that was sort of funny. I have the same drive you mentioned. I have the same machine
Yeah.
basically you have, and they sent me the same notice. I ignored it. My drive is still working perfectly
Well,
fine.
that's
It's
what
been almost 2 years.
yeah, but that's what they said. I said there was
I
a
know
chance of
they panic and then they
panic.
go off and do it to make everybody think they're so service oriented. So I don't know.
Well,
I don't really believe them
no,
anymore.
that's that.
Um, I mean, what's keeping them alive right now isn't their hardware; it's
Mm.
their phones.
But it's going to come to
The,
it.
the, the iPad sales have gone down; they're really low. Um, iPads really aren't selling much at all anymore, like they used to. But the phones are selling well. They're still strong in the U.S., not as strong around the world.
Mm.
Around the world, Android beats the iPhone by, I think it was like 3 to 1 or more. But in the US, the iPhone beats individual Androids like the Samsungs by a bit. So I think they have over 50 million phones or something in the US.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of phones. But they're not as popular worldwide as are the Androids. I'm not quite sure why. I've just been reading about that. So yeah, it's just interesting.
And then
I'm just not. I don't go for the hype anymore with Apple. I'm sort of done.
well
And
having said that, one of the things why I started with that one was because I'm not that impressed. But then they've sort of got a bit of a teaser, and I have that feeling that these ones are made to a particular point to make people look at their new one. They've got one coming out in December called the iMac Pro, which is the one that's due in December, and that.
well, that's what I was talking about when we were talking the Pro, and it's okay, but I don't know what they're going to charge for that.
Well, because it said because that one, the iMac Pro, not the Mac Pro, the iMac Pro. So it'll be in the
Right.
same sort of casing, but it will have up to an 18-core processor, as I said, but still Xeon
Except, you know what's funny
processor.
about that? 18 cores. Most software doesn't take advantage of it.
And then they've got 8, 10, or 18, so you've got your choice. And then they've still got the Radeon Pro, is it Vega 3? Which it says 3 times
Yeah.
faster than their previous card, so hopefully. And then one thing I do like on that, which it says 128 gig, up to 128 gigabyte of RAM. So on that,
Okay.
so that's a lot if you're wanting to.
So we'll wait
do
to
a
see
lot.
what Larry Jordan says, how fast it really is.
Well, that's the thing. You can get all these specs, but it's all depends how the programs use it and that. And then they've got the 4 terabyte all flash storage, that you can get for that.
Oh,
So
they're going to charge a fortune for that.
I know, because I'm just thinking every time I see these specs, I thought I'm not going to get any
But
change out of
Let's
10,000.
remember they came out with the Mac Pro.
Yes.
The one that looks like the ashtray.
Yes.
That hasn't sold anything. Very few people bought it. It's Larry Jordan basically said the our iMacs are faster than that one, and that one costs a minimum, I think, of $5,000 when you buy it, and then you have to add everything to it. I don't know. I don't know where Apple's going.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going nowhere. I mean, they're always behind. And when they come up with something that's brand new, it's not. And they usually charge double what everybody else is charging. So I think the industrial design has worn off on me, because you can get very nice PC cases that are gorgeous, and all-in-ones are great, but I've been burned. I don't want any more all-in-ones unless it's for like a public area machine.
Yeah.
I will not make my main machine an all-in-one, because we use them all day long for production, and when they die, we're down.
Yeah.
And you can't just fix it. It took me to replace the glass and that stupid little pin that holds the screen at the angle. That took 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks to get back.
And the
machine dead. That's a dead $3,400 machine.
And the thing is with that, the Mac Pro, it wasn't upgradable or anything, was it?
It was. The Mac Pro was, but
I think you couldn't.
I don't think it was easily upgradable, and you had to pay a fortune.
And they haven't done any sort of upgrades for that for quite some time. So, but the one thing
that's why you couldn't even find the originally came out with Thunderbolt 2, I think, and nobody had any devices for it.
And
you couldn't find drives that worked on it. It's just, I don't get it.
And they must have been hearing me for this iMac Pro, because one thing that said that another thing that's attracting me, it's got 4 Thunderbolt 3s. So they've listened and put 4 Thunderbolt 3 things on this one, but they're all
right. But how many do you really need?
Well, that's what I think I probably would do 4, because that's what I would like to have, because even then I wouldn't like with my video stream, I don't want to go through another device, because sometimes if you have to switch that off, I want that extra connection. That's why I had to bring this machine down here and use that, because I couldn't do it from the because I only had one on the laptop, so I had to have 2 for that, and then I had to bring the Drobo down here so I could daisy chain that through that to get my other one working, you see, so I could have the 3 things on that. But hey, that's nice, and they've said they've updated all the speakers, so yeah, maybe you don't have to have the external speakers anymore, but to me, sound on the computer. You don't really. It's nice if you want a big. You don't.
The externals.
Because really, what do you? I just listen to people. A few YouTube. If I want to listen to any big sounds, I go onto YouTube on my big TV through the stereo system,
that's true.
And you listen to some big sound there. But we've all been used to getting these speakers, but really there's no use. You can sort of probably do with the internal. But it'll be interesting to see what price that they do come out with. But just looking at that, knowing what the standard...
I think it's going to be about 5 minimum.
Oh, no way. I think it'd probably be twice as much as that, because I know the standard iMac 27-inch, when you... bang it up for you.
The ones we got were about 3,400.
Well, I mean, here for me, it's about 4,100 for the new Mac with all spec'd up. But then that's without the top end SSD. If you do that, you can put another $1,200. But if you're crazy enough to get any Apple memory, like they charge $2,500 for 32 gig of RAM, where you can get it for $300 from OMC and do it yourself. I mean, at least that's one thing you can still do.
I'm always surprised people want to buy Apple products with such fervor, such fanaticism, because you're buying the hype. You're not really buying anything that much better. Like I said, wait till it breaks, and that's all I can say. Just wait till it breaks, and then good luck, because then you get hit really hard, and they don't care. I mean, it's okay. I actually talked to somebody who worked at an Apple store, and she was telling me that, well, a lot of the stuff they do is on purpose, just to make sure, like, for example, when you try to pull off the screen and it breaks, even though you have the right tools, they do that on purpose, because then they have to replace your screen. It's like, So, I'm done.
But the thing is, as well, now there's so many other things like that. Well, I think they've inherited the same price point, though, the Microsoft Windows machines. Those laptops are absolutely beautiful. Have you seen them? I love them. And then it takes off, and it's a tablet, a very chunky tablet it may be, but you can write on the screen. It's touch screen. There's a lot of innovation there, that Apple are just sort of moving away from. They haven't. Right. They don't do anything super duper special anymore. They seem to just be doing
No. But I think the only person who really had any great thoughts was probably Jobs, and when he left, they're repeating a lot of what he did, and you notice how slow the turnaround times are.
But even then,
it's been quite a few years since you and I bought our Macs, about 3, and they haven't had much in between. They had the 5K one.
They're not. But the thing is, what he would do, though, is now they're too worried about money. He didn't seem to give two hoots about, well, I'm not going to make any money in the next 6 months. I'm going to develop something really great. But they don't. They're too worried. Like, what did he do? He cut down all their rates. Get rid of all that. Get rid of that. No, you're not doing that. Just concentrate on this. But I think they get to that stage where they're too scared to do that. Whereas, if he would probably say, right, I'm going to scrap all the computer range and not bring anything out for 3 years, but then come out with something that was revolutionary, that was really going to knock the socks off people. Like they said, that's what the Windows things did. And then if they came out in 3 years with this MacBook Pro that separated, that did all these sort of things, and wireless data transfer between the screen and the box and all these things. But it's I might be wrong. They might come up with something else that we'll just say totally different anyway. But we never know.
That's true.
Never know.
That's true. Hey, your Aussie counterpart up there, Blunty.
Oh, yes.
Have you seen him lately? He's like aged 20 years.
No, I haven't had a look. I'll have to have a look.
I was like, wait a minute. Now he's got totally gray hair, and what happened to him? He lost a ton of weight. He just looks totally different. He's still funny, but not as funny. He's a lot more reserved now. But it's interesting. I just saw him the other day. I was going, that's Blunty? Wow.
If he's reserved,
I didn't think he was that old. I thought he was actually pretty young, but interesting.
He must have another job where he's got to be a bit more respectable or something like that. But then again, sometimes people dye their hair, and then all of a sudden you get to a stage of life where you don't bother. With mine's always been the same since I was 24. But talking about buying things as well, so yesterday I did, not sort of technology, but bought myself a new pair of hair clippers. I've been buying the cheaper.
Did you buy the wall?
I was going to say, I've been buying the cheap rubbishy ones, and they keep getting the $60, $70 ones, and then they keep breaking. So I said there was a set of wall ones on special from $199 to $139. So
those are really professional ones. And I have a wall set that's only like $50.
And I wanted the plug into the wall. I said I don't want rechargeable because they do for 6 months and then it goes flat, and then I said I want something. I'm only stood there to do me hair. I don't need to be walking around with it cordless. So and I did that. I had to go with it last night.
I gave up going to a barber years ago. It wasn't worth the money and wasting time out to go there. And frankly, they didn't do that good a job, most of them. So I wound up getting a hair clipper and just doing it. I go, hey, it was easy.
And I did that, and now I did mine last night. So, and I said, you can't go wrong with it when you do it like that, because you just cut it all off. You just keep going.
And you're done. It's easy.
And they said if you do it too bad, you just go totally bald for a bit, and it grows back. So just get it short. Like the last one, which frightened me, that made me get that, was I was doing it with the old cheaper one, and the guide fell off. And then I just did a big chunk of a hole in me, just because the guide fell off, and I thought, right, they're going, because it was just in a place I thought, oh, nobody might notice that anyway. But that's not the only thing I'm looking at spending money on. So technology, like, yes, I still want to get my GH5, but I'm still tossing up. I know it's a lovely camera. It's probably worth the money, but I've got the FZ1000, still a perfectly good camera. I've got the XA10 camera with the video camera, which is really good, but the FZ1000 even does a better job for the for the video side of it.
Maybe you're the type who wants an FZ2500.
Yeah, but then the FZ1000's servicing me quite enough at the moment. So I'm looking at doing something different at the moment, spending my money on some. So what usually when I'm justifying what do I spend my money on, it's how will I use it? Will I get the use out of it? So something I'll get more of the use out. So you got me onto this anyway a while back, but I've just seen an OLED TV, one of the LG OLEDs. Oh, and
that's beautiful.
And the LG have got the running out the next generation of models for 2017. They've gone away from sort of the slightly curved one, which I quite like.
Yes,
I like that.
Yeah.
They've gone to the flat again, but they've got some of the curved ones that are still 3D, which they're not doing anymore. Only Samsung are, but they're clearing them out at the moment. So they're about $1,500 cheaper than they were before.
Well, that's not bad.
So
that's not bad.
Still,
have you seen them in person?
Oh, they and
are they not beautiful?
And the thing I was trying to justify, because I thought I've got one of the LGs, the 60-inch, but I thought it was 65-inch. But this other one I'm looking at, 65-inch, because I'm going to put the old 60-inch upstairs, because upstairs I've still got a Sony 32-inch cathode ray tube up there that weighs about 150 kilo.
Is it up? Yeah, it's up. This is my Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus.
Let's see. Yeah.
Now, this is OLED.
Yeah.
And you know where it's black, where it's totally black?
Yep, it's totally
black. No power
Yeah.
consumption is actually going on. Do I need to bring this up?
Yeah, because it's not doing a color. It's just not doing anything.
There we go.
So, yeah.
So where you see black over there, nothing is actually being consumed. So in essence, it's like having a screensaver. So the only thing being used is where you see actual colors. And so when you get an OLED TV, it won't consume anywhere near as much as a regular TV, because the screen just doesn't consume as much, and the blacks are so perfectly black because it turns the pixel off for that color. So black is a turned off pixel. It is amazing how well that works, and the depth of the screens. You don't need 3D. It almost looks 3D just by looking at it. It's so beautiful. Now that sounds good. Yeah, that would be a nice purchase. You'd use that all the time.
Well, and that's where another thing it's the sort of thing I know I can look at every day without any effort. But I'm going to go and get one next week, I think. So get it all and sort of then move. Then the tricky bit is move the 60-inch from downstairs upstairs. That's not too bad, but it's trying to get rid of the old Sony 32-inch cathode ray tube. Because at the time it's 16 years old, but that was when I bought that was state of the art. It was a huge, the biggest TV you could get. But now it's I've only had it so long because I can't be bothered dealing with.
And we were the same way about, I don't know, less than 20 years ago. We had a 32-inch Toshiba. That's the one that competed against the Sony, and we should have gotten the Sony. I don't know. The only reason we bought the Toshiba, it had a gimmick. And we thought it was cool. When we got it, it wasn't a big deal. The thing weighed 300 pounds. And it had a gimmick. The stand would rotate, so the stand would go like this.
I remember on the remote control.
It had a remote.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Change your angle.
I
and it was
saw
32 inches.
Yeah,
and we thought, my gosh, we're in a movie theater.
Yeah, and I remember that one because I thought, oh, fantastic. You just turn the angle. You don't have to move it. It just turns on the thing.
But it weighed 300 pounds. You couldn't move it, and it was interesting. And then, of course, 32 inches sounded really good at the time. And now I've got a 32-inch monitor. I'm going...
Yeah, but even then you had to be careful then, because there were so many people back then who had nearly killing little children because with the cathode ray tubes, they were very front heavy. You had to strap them down at the back or to the floor, so because all their kids had to do was go grab the TV and it was on top of them, and those things weighed, like you said, 300 pounds. It's a lot of weight on there.
Coming at you hard. And not only that, if the tube exploded, you could get hurt pretty badly.
I remembered with this Sony one, I was trying to take it upstairs, and I got stuck. I had to call for help to get it upstairs, and the thing is, it was just so heavy, and there's no handles on it. How do you grab that thing? When it was new, I was trying not to scratch it. So I said, getting down, it's not going to be too much of a problem because I don't care about this. But now, it's all it is that TV now is a monitor, because they've got rid of all the analog TV, so it doesn't receive any TV channels. You have to put a set-top box on.
And the resolution is so poor. It's only 4:3.
No. This was widescreen. This wasn't 4:3. This wasn't widescreen, but it still is a damn good picture quality. But as I said, now when I'm I do my ironing up there every Saturday, but even standing back from that, it's starting to get, gee, that's small. And I know when I got it, it was state of the art. I thought, why do you want a TV this damn big? And I thought,
well, it's funny. We were talking about the GH5. It's a great camera, but I'll tell you what might be a great camera if, and only if, Canon pays attention, which they probably won't. But I did a podcast last night and I put it up on our TDO channel, and it was about the M5. It's a nice little camera, but it's a little. I really want a little more heft. My hands are big. I don't want to hold this little thing. And this would be the perfect camera if Canon did this. A Canon 7D Mark III with a vari-angle lens, a vari-angle display, so you can move it in all, just like the GH5. If they put 15 frames a second, I think it already does like 12, 15 frames a second, 4K recording, nothing less than, has to be 4K.
That's right.
And that alone would make it probably better than a GH5 if they did that. And a codec that was a high-end MP4 or ProRes or something like that, not the crap they've been doing, which is enormous. That would probably take over the market, because that would be not only useful, the lenses would be great, and you have so many other lenses you could use on it. You don't need adapters.
No, that's
right.
And
the color on Canon is still the best of anyone out there. The only one who comes close to color reproduction is Fujifilm, and they're in a different league. It's just not the same. They're good, but I think Canon would win that one if they did that. Will they? Probably not.
But I don't know about
the $14,000 C200 Mark II or something, which has all the features that the GH5 has for two.
But the only thing is with me, like you were saying about how good the Canon color is, and everybody does. To me, I always like the Panasonic coloring better. I don't know why. Maybe I can't see the Canon one, but people say, oh, that's much better. But even the Olympus, to me, I had a friend who had an Olympus, and that has gorgeous color. I reckon that has, like
it's
the
Fuji,
bad.
It's
it
not
has
bad.
really
Fujifilm
nice.
Has the closest to Canon I've seen. What Canon does is it has warmer tones for skin and other things, whereas the Panasonic still has a little more of that bluish tinge almost. And a lot of them, Sony has a little of that colder tinge. It's not warm. So they miss the skin tones. They're not quite right. In fact, Sony's got probably one of the worst colors out there. Maybe they've gotten better on their new A9 or A99. Speaking of the A9, that's been getting a lot of reviews and everybody's talking about it. Ken Wheeler yesterday did a podcast with Jason Lanier.
Oh, that'd be
Remember,
good.
they kind of hated each other for a while.
Oh, did they? But that would have been good to watch.
Jason
I'll have to look.
Point to go see him.
Yes, I'll have to have a look at that.
He was like 4 hours away, and he drove over, and they got together in Kentucky, and they did a half-hour podcast together. It was good.
That would be good. Ken would be. I reckon Ken would be a great guy to catch up with and spend a day with, because I think it would have such a good time. Now, getting back to your Canon little video, I don't think you had your autofocus on at all, because it was so out of focus. You know, your Canon one.
Mine?
No,
on that one. That was on face tracking.
I don't think it had, because it wasn't hunting. It just didn't. No matter how much you moved,
it was on face tracking. I said it before we did it. I was going.
It didn't move anything. Nothing moved at all. It was totally, like I said, your amp was totally in focus, but nothing else wasn't. It never moved.
Yeah. For example, the mic stand and the preamps were very sharp.
Sharp. That's right.
And I was looking at it, going. A couple of times, my eyes looked like they really went in focus, and then it would go out, and I was going. And that's with the dual pixel autofocus, and I was on face tracking. I was on AF face tracking going.
I was convinced. I was convinced it wasn't on.
Just to show what happens.
I was convinced
it was definitely on face tracking.
Yeah.
There's only 3 focus types, and I was on the face tracking one, and a little disappointed that it didn't really nail it.
Yeah, and in where it is there, you've got it should pick you out, because they said it would be a white background and just you, or there wasn't too much in the background, so you were the main thing. So
it was an interesting test. To me, it didn't do that well.
No, it didn't for that one, and I was quite. I said I was convinced it was switched off.
Soft focused.
Well, I was convinced the focus was just switched to manual, and that was it, because there was just not any movement
in fact,
whatsoever.
Did you notice that? every so often it would hunt a little bit. It would just slightly change and go back. And I was going, oh, no, that's more focus. No, it's back to bad.
Okay.
So I was a little surprised that it couldn't. I don't know why. I was out of the scene when I hit it. I did hit my focus button, then went back in. And when I got in, I went, it's not. I couldn't tell when I was recording until it finished. And I went, interesting. It looks, to me, it looked very soft. There were portions where I thought the eye focus was good, and then it went away again. And I went, okay, I'm going to put it up as is, as just a sample of what happens. It was interesting. And now I'm going to try it again, either with the Canon app or having somebody hit the autofocus, the shutter release halfway, and see if that makes a difference.
Yeah, it's really strange. But I was tossing up. I thought, should I do a little video about doing that and say like the GH5, and then just at the end of it say, well, that was the FZ 1000. So it does quite a good job, because that still is, to me, even though, as I said, the 2500 is a much better update. But the FZ 1000 for me is good.
The FZ 1000 and 2500 really only have to worry about one lens.
Yeah, that's
right. So as
a
result, they're probably better tuned in the focus to that lens versus all the things you could put on it. But I was still surprised. Now, I was going through their adapter, and I'm wondering if that may be part of the problem. I didn't have one of the native lenses on. I had one of the Canon L lenses. It was a 35 millimeter f2.0 L. The adapter is really clean. It does do everything it's supposed to. It looks good. And yet when I did that, when I walked into the scene and sat, I went, I couldn't tell until I finished. When I finished, I went, not really what I expected. I thought it would be sharp. My background was sharp, but I wasn't. So even though we were on face tracking, when I went in, it didn't seem to recognize the face.
Anyway, Rick, for this show, we've nearly already reached an hour, I think, just going on. Oh, yes, I think we nearly have. So,
you're right.
It says we have. So, as I said, so hopefully everybody's watching. Please subscribe, and click on the subscribe, and we'll have another show next week for you. So, thank you everybody for watching.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye for now.